Welcome. So my name is Sammy Lyon. I am a real estate agent here in Los Angeles, Southern California. I came to this work as an educator. I worked in social justice education and I taught environmental justice with students for 11 years and ran school programs. And then I got really into real estate investing and how real estate investing could kind of be that pathway toward financial freedom, financial independence, building generational wealth. So I loved it so much that I ended up getting my real estate license, and I'm really enjoying helping people do that and getting on that path. And because of my background, I really feel like uh, the the tools to access real estate, purchase real estate, and use that. I mean, I think real estate is kind of the way that people build wealth in this country, for better or for worse. Those tools should be accessible to everybody. So I feel really passionate about, creating those, sharing that information and helping people understand, what do I need to do? Um, and so I'm very fortunate. I met Shiva a few years ago on a real estate networking website. We totally hit it off. We took a trip together and we now invest together and we work together. And he is also, so he is a attorney. He has a credit repair company. I love sending people to him because I know he's going to take care of them and just comes at the work from a very heart-centered place and really personable. And so, yeah, I asked if we could do this workshop together. And so he's going to be presenting today. I'm super excited, very grateful that he's giving his time. He's also going to put the link in the chat at the end too, to if you want to have a free consult with someone from his team. He's offering that today to anybody on this call. So very grateful for that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited to be a real estate agent who's working with a lot of first-time home buyers and a lot of educators and a lot of folks who may not, already be in the real estate game, and kind of helping you guys figure this out. So Shiva, take it away. Talk a little bit about yourself and go ahead.
Sure. Well, first off, thank you, Sammy, for the introduction and for this invitation. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. So thank you. As Sammy mentioned, my name is Shiva Bhaskar. I am a consumer credit repair attorney as well as a real estate investor. Based here in Los Angeles, used to be in New York for many years before that. I got started in credit, if you will, because of my own financial challenges and things that happened with my own credit as a result of my law school student loans. And I caused enough damage to my own credit because of things that were happening that could barely rent an apartment and do other things. And when I wanted to invest in real estate down the line, as things started to take off with my career and all, it wasn't possible because of credit. And so I started researching and sort of trying to understand. And then one of my childhood friends who I grew up with, Tony, who's now my business partner, he actually came from the mortgage lending world, and he was the co-founder of a credit repair company that you could say we're us a tier one or a sort of a successor of. But he came from that world and had that expertise. And long story short, after I learned about my own credit and all of that, we started talking and said, hey, if we sort of brought together my legal knowledge around credit and combined with what he'd done on the financing side and started a company and helped folks, we thought that would be really great. And so that's how it got started. And today we help people around the country who are looking to improve their credit, primarily for the purpose of buying a home, also sometimes for funding a business or purchasing a car. But yeah, my own experience with my own credit, my own struggles with it, and lack of understanding and challenges and all of that kind of drove us to where we are here today. We're really passionate about it because I think, as Sammy mentioned, home buying, being able to buy a home or invest, what have you, is one of the most, it's one of the most tried and true kind of proven paths to building wealth and, building some financial security. And so we're passionate about helping people access that. And I'm going to share a quick presentation, which basically designed to just give you some ideas around improving your credit score, share a bit of knowledge, and then we want to drive into the the Q&A and answer folks' questions and kind of help you understand or figure out around your own credit and around buying a home and all of that. So, Sammy, should I share the screen? Okay,
Go for it.
let me find it. Okay, here we go. Tell me when you can see it.
There we go.
Cool. Beautiful. Okay, so this is a brief presentation. I'm going to share with you a few ways to immediately improve your credit score, and also share a bit of information around how credit scoring works. So first off, quick little intro. The lowest at a FICO credit score, and we'll be talking about what a FICO score is. The lowest it can be is 300. The highest it can be is 850. Okay, and typically, when you're starting out with credit, it takes 6 months of data to generate a FICO score. And then as you build on-time payment history and you have accounts open for longer, then your score can rise. By the same token, if you have late payments or debts end up in collections, automobile repossessions, all those things, that can obviously set it back. So that's basically the nut in a nutshell. Now, one of the easiest and pretty much free, arguably, strategies to improve your score is to become an authorized user on someone else's credit card. So basically what this means is you find someone, maybe a friend or a relative or a colleague, anyone, a mentor, and let them know, hey, I'm interested in improving my credit score, and I'm wondering if you could add me to your credit card. But here's the thing, because if that person is anything like me, they're going to say, okay, but what about protecting my own credit? And that's a very understandable concern. They don't have to give you the card. They just need to add your name, and then they can hang on to the card. You're going to benefit from their positive history because depending on the credit card issuer, it will appear on your credit reports. So you want to pick someone who you trust as being responsible. They have a card that's been open for, I would say, at least 3 years. They don't spend too much on the card, meaning they keep their balance is relatively low and they pay it off every month, always pay on time. You want to find someone like that and have them add you. And if you already have very established credit, you have a 700 FICO score or something, then this is not necessary. It could help. But if you're trying to get a leg up and you just need a little bit more of a boost, this is a good idea. And what I want to add is there are services that sell this. Do not do it, because FICO is designed to kind of figure out or root out fraud. And if they think you bought it from someone else, it may not count towards your score, or it could have other consequences. So do not pay anyone for this. Find a friend or relative who's willing to help. It's no risk to them because they don't need to give you the card or access to any of it. And that's a really quick, free way to boost your score. And along those lines, if you already have credit cards, you want to reduce your balances, okay, to below 30% and ideally below 10% of the limit. So if you have a card with $1,000 limit, you want to keep your balance as of the statement date. They issue a statement each month. As of that date, you really want to keep it below 10%, so below $100. So your credit card statement is emailed to you, and right before that statement's issued, it'll be the same date every month. You want to keep that balance low. So one point I want to make here is this is not the same as paying off the card. Like what I've seen is, I'll give you an example with my card with Chase. Due date is on the 2nd of the month. Okay. So the due date is on the 2nd. And then basically the statement is issued on the 10th. So if I pay off the card in full on the 2nd, but I do a bunch of spending, I don't know, I go buy a new TV and new furniture and some online courses between the 2nd to the 10th, I could show a very high balance. And that's what's going to appear on the credit report, and it'll hurt you. And this comes up because folks often tell me, we had this woman we were talking to today. She said, well, I pay off the card every month. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. And I get it. But the problem is that some of these months, it looks like she's paying her rent or doing some other things on there to get points, and that's bumping up the balances, and that's hurting her. So keep it low as of the statement date, especially if you're applying for a mortgage. One thing that you could do is you could just, if you don't like using credit cards much, just use one card, show a little balance on that one card around the statement date, keep all the others at zero. That's one option. And the reason I say show a tiny balance is there's two sort of contradictory pieces of advice you have to remember. You want balances to be low, But if you show zero balance on every card, they might think that you're not using the card at all. That's sort of seen as a negative. So you want to have at least a small balance somewhere. Okay, that's a good thing to do. One option, if you have high credit card debt and you want to reduce it, you could consider a balance transfer card, where basically you move your balance to a new card with a new limit, and you have a period where that new card is interest free. Or you could use a personal loan. There's a lot of installment loans online. Credit Karma, NerdWallet, Lending Tree, you can go there and use that because the interest rate is lower. So you use that to pay off the credit card, and then you just pay off that personal loan at a lower rate. The only caveat to what I just said is you typically need at least a 650 FICO score already to do that. If you already have damage credit, this one won't work. But a lot of folks have high credit card debt, but they pay on time. If that's you, then this is a good idea. One thing I recommend, if you're to have a card you're in good standing on, your balances are low, you could consider asking for a increase in your credit limit, maybe 6 months before applying for a mortgage. That can help your score. So that's something that people do. And if you don't have any credit cards and you want one, then if your score is below 620, I recommend a secured card where you put up a deposit and that's your spending limit. And other than that, you follow all the same rules as above. I would start with a secured card if you don't have any credit, or if your score is below a 620. If it's above a 620, you can apply with like Capital One, Discover, Citi, one of those. So, I know a lot of people are anti-credit card, and it's possible to make a lot of mistakes with them. But at the same time, if you know how to use it, it's going to play a big role in getting the score up and helping you get the house. And this is number 3 is a very mortgage specific tip. Okay. So when they score, the version of FICO that's used the version of FICO that's used for mortgages, one thing they do look at is if you have installment credit, meaning loans. So that could be student loan, auto loan, things like that. Now, unfortunately, a lot of us are burdened with student loans. So if that's you, then disregard this. But if you don't have any kind of loans, you might want to look maybe about a year before applying for the mortgage at getting a credit builder account. And basically what that means is that company has a bunch of funds. You don't give them any money up front. They set aside money for you and you pay them towards what they set aside. And at the end, they give you back money minus some interest. So there's a company called Self Inc., self.inc. They're really good for this. And there are some others. Credit Strong's another one. This is if you're looking for a mortgage. Yeah, you're paying a bit of interest, but it's a great way to build your score, and whatever you're paying will really save you when it comes to your interest. So that, or when it comes to the mortgage rate, So that's one I like. Self.inc is one. And the other one is Credit Strong. Okay, now I can drop these in the chat as well. Now, credit repair. People want to know, what is it? How does it work? Give you a very quick synopsis. Negative items damage your credit score a lot. Okay, just a single late payment, 30 days late, can hit your score by 80 points or more. And we see this every day. And then collections, charge-offs, auto repos, judgments, foreclosures, all those things are even more damaging. So there is a legal process to potentially remove negative credit items. And basically, we use a federal law. It's called the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or the FCRA. That's what I specialize in. I not only do this on the credit repair side, but I have also sued the credit reporting agencies for violating it. So we use the FCRA to potentially remove negative items, even if they belong to you, but they don't meet all the legal requirements as far as being complete and accurate and having proof. We use that. With debt collectors, we use the FDCPA. That's another law. And also, if you're in California, the Rosenthal law. Those basically put a lot of restrictions on debt collectors' conduct. And if we catch them making certain mistakes, we can use that to get the collection removed and potentially even get you money. So that's what it is. I mean, the way we do this is by challenging and disputing negative credit items. You have a legal right, I should mention, to do all of this yourself. You're welcome to do it yourself. I think a lot of people do it themselves very well, but a lot of other folks, there's a lot of bad information online and it may not be clear. So that's where professionals like ourselves come in. One thing I will recommend, if you're going to do any disputing yourself, do not do it online. No Credit Karma, nothing on Experian. Send them letters by mail and do it that way, because if you do it online, you might be waiving some of your rights. So that's kind of one thing I would recommend. Credit repair companies, you need to do your homework. We stand by our reputation and we're very proud of it, but I think everyone should shop around. Try to look for a company that charges you for results, does not charge you monthly, because there's no guarantee that anything will get removed. That's why we do it that way. We charge only based on what we get deleted. But yeah, do your homework if you feel like this is an option, or something you want to consider. And finally, this is a really, really important point. When it comes to buying a home, if there's one thing you take away from what I said today, I hope it's this next one, which is FICO. That stands for the Fair Isaac Corporation. They're the major producer of credit scores used for mortgages, credit cards, auto loans, business loans, all those decisions. Now, here's why this matters. If you have Credit Karma, which a lot of people do, they don't give you the FICO score. They give you the Vantage score. And I like Credit Karma, but the Vantage score is a score that was created by the 3 credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. It's not the score that most lenders use. There's many versions of FICO, but most lenders use some version of it, okay? And the reason I emphasize this is a lot of people look at their Credit Karma score, and it's way higher than their FICO score. And they use that assumption, and Sammy and I were talking about this earlier this week, actually. Folks use that assumption when they're applying for a mortgage that, oh, my Credit Karma says 690 or 670 or 650 or whatever, I'll qualify. And the FICO's often lower. So just be aware. You can get your FICO for free at freecreditscore.com, which is owned by Experian. So Experian.com, Discover gives it to you for free. So you can get it for free. Now there's a very specific version of FICO that's used, okay, for mortgages. For Equifax, it's FICO 5.0, Beacon 5.0. For TransUnion, it's Classic 04. And for Experian, it's FICO Score 2. They call it Fair Isaac Score 2. So these are the exact scores that every mortgage lender uses, okay, no matter who you're applying with. They take, there's 3 scores, right? There's your Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. They don't use your high or your low score. They use your middle score to decide A, whether you'll qualify for a mortgage, and B, at what interest rate. So your middle score is what matters. And you can get those FICO scores either from myfico.com. You pay like $39.99 a month. They'll give it to you if you want to know. Or if you want, you can have a lender pull your credit. That will have a little impact on your credit, but it is something you can do. And yeah, your FICO score, they don't release the exact formula, but it's based on 5 things. Your payment history, meaning do you pay on time or do you pay late? Okay, that's 35%. So that includes things like collections, repos, foreclosures, all of that. Not so fun stuff. So this is a lot of where we operate as a credit repair company, is getting that 35% stronger. 30% is how much you owe. Okay, mainly credit card balances. Your balances on student loans and car loans, they do matter, but not nearly as much as credit card balances. You really want to get those low, and that'll help you. Length of credit history just means how old your accounts are. The longer you've had accounts, the better. So where to supplies, as I always tell folks, if you have a credit card you've had for a while and don't use, try not to close it unless you're paying an annual fee. Just leave it open. If the company wants to close it, they'll close it. I mean, that you don't control. But if you can keep it open, even maybe use it once in a great while, that's really good because it'll stay on your report and it helps you. And then types of credit, that basically means, do you have a mix of credit? Do you only have credit cards? Do you have credit cards and maybe some loans? Okay, the more of a mix you have, that's helpful, especially when you get to higher scores. Like if you have a 700 FICO, going from a 700 to a 720 might involve whether you have installment loans, or almost everyone with a FICO score over 800, 90%, probably 80% of them have a mortgage, because that reflects a higher level of responsibility. So your mix of credit. And then lastly is credit inquiries, which is where you apply for credit. That's 10% of your score. And we all know when, if you went and ever applied for a credit card, you saw a slight hit to your credit, that's this 10% over here. And one thing I want to add for mortgage credit scores, typically all inquiries within a 45-day period, all mortgage credit inquiries count as one. So if on May 1st, I apply with one mortgage lender, May 10th with another, May 15th with another, for credit scoring, all of those should count as one inquiry from the time of the first to the last, if they're within 45 days. So like anything between May and June 15th in that example, you could apply with 20 lenders and they should all count as one. So it won't keep hitting your score. And the reason is because you want to be able to shop around. So those are the basics of it. I know I covered a lot, but the Q&A will help us dive into this. And then Sammy's contact info is here. For when you're ready to buy, you should definitely talk to Sammy. And then for us, ours is here, and I'm going to even drop my my scheduling link to speak with our team to have a free credit review. We'll drop that in there, and I think that's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for breaking that down. 5 main points.